Welcome, my name is Tashana and this is StarMade. And your first question is probably, why are we staring at a ship core? That's because this episode is not my regular building episode, because it's this time of year again and JW608 has issued a community challenge, and this time he challenged us to basically build a Ascent type ship, or at least a cheap small type fighter that actually works in the current build instead of the Ascent that we have, and is basically drawing all its power just to stay alive. So that's what we're going to do today. So it's basically going to be a brand new ship, because we don't have, you could of course have the Ascent itself, but we don't have a template to build from, so we're going to build a brand new ship. Before we start with actually building the ship, there's a few restrictions that we have to take into account. Because he said, okay, if you're going to build a ship, it needs to fit into a 35 by 35 by 35 space. So I made this block over here. It's, by looks of it, not exactly 35, it's 36 high, but okay, one block less height, but that's about the size that we can work with. It's not a very big space, because it's only going to be this size in any length. So I'm probably not going to utilize the entire volume of this cube, but at least one of these lengths will be 35 for the new ship, I think. There's also the restriction that it can't be more than 1000 mass. But I'm not really worried about that, because mass in a ship this size will probably not exceed 1000 mass. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about that much. And he said that it needs to be a pirate theme of some sort, whatever we make of it, I think. So we're going to get creative with that. And I was thinking about some ideas of what I want to do for this particular ship, and basically I decided to throw logic or common sense out of the window and do something very, very weird. And this is exactly what I'm talking about weird designs I'm trying out. Yeah, over here I've just made a core with some measurements around it for the space I can use, and then I started some experimenting with this design over here. Yeah, this is a very, very big cartoony looking bomb. So yeah, it's not what I normally do for a ship design, but like I said, just do something, be creative, see if it works or not. And this was what I come up with. So I think I'm going to continue this, doing some experiments with different weapon designs that look weird or might work for the type of ship I want to build, because my idea is basically based on what JW said in the challenge episode. Basically it's going to be a junk pile. So take ship parts that you find within the universe and then build a ship from it. That's my plan, at least. But of course I have to design the pieces of the hull that I'm going to use for this ship first. For example, this one. This is a small version of this bomb or rocket or whatever you want to call it. Because yeah, this big bomb is very, very big. It's almost a ship on its own, because if you look at the size of space we have, this almost fills all of that. So yeah, I'm not sure if I can use it, but I like it, so I kind of want to. So we'll see. Yeah, if we can't, then we can probably use this smaller version in some way to integrate it in our design. But yeah, let's continue with this. Here are some additional experiments I did, and I also did some additional detailing to see how it worked out. Yeah, this is basically some sort of gun emplacement. It's very simple, but yeah, I'm not sure if that's something I can fit in a design. I quite like this one. This is basically a design that I built inspired by one of those sci-fi looking guns you can Google for. So I quite like this. This is something I can probably use in my ship design as well. So I did some additional detailing as well because I'm still getting back to this big bomb. I quite like it. So I made this big clamp that holds it in place, and my idea now is to have this big bomb as a basically part of the hull, then some sort of additional hull, basically connected to it with this clamp to hold it in place. So it looks like it can drop the bomb, but it's part of the main hull, so you can use it for system space, etc. And then have some cockpit section in front of it to see if we can make it work like that. But we have to copy and paste it into the space we have available, I think, first to see how it will fit and what space we have left over to get the rest of the ship in the dimensions we have. So this is my first attempt to get this idea working. So we got the space markers here that designate the end of the dimensions I have. So there's not a lot of room for me, so it's not going to be a very large ship, but I can make it work, I think. I'm probably going to have this cockpit over here, so it's a very simple one with just a window, and then have some sort of body flowing all the way this way, and then having this connected in sort of a back bay of the ship. So like I said, it looks like it can be dropped, but it really can't because it's a part of the main hull, just so I have enough space to get system working. Because you could make it some sort of drone, give it its own propulsion, its own weapons, etc. Then you can drop it, and then you have two ships instead of one. But that's not really going to work for a AI ship, I think. So we're going to stick with the fixed version, I think. Remember how I said I wanted to make use of this gun build thing I made here? I had this idea to use it as a separate piece of the hull, so basically a big gun on the side or something, and make it asymmetrical. But instead, I decided I like this shape so much that I would modify it and use it for the main hull. So I changed the entire setup of this part of the ship now to resemble this part more. So the idea is that our adventuring pirate has found some parts within a junk pile area somewhere, and then used, for example, this main hull. It used to be, I think, a barrel of a gun of a main bigger ship. And then use it as a main hull for his small ship. So then we can connect it to the rest and then have this bomb cradle thing here in the back. So let me work on that a bit more to get the rest of the hull in here, and then see how much things we need to add to bulk it up a bit more. So this looks already a bit much more like the gun I have over there, so it's a bit wider, but we've got this grip section over here, down here. Then this flows all the way to these armor panels on the top with green. And I had this idea to add these random gray blocks over here to indicate that there is wear and damage that might have been repaired, or basically where the paint has chipped away. So this is a used part, it's not new, so I want to make it look like it's actually made of junk. That's the plan, at least. So I think this is going to work for me, so I just have to continue this section and then see where I end up. At this stage I'm getting all the main components of the hull in place, so I continue the main section hull over here with this section. This is going to be my entrance into the ship, so we've got our very small back section, then some sort of hallway to the cockpit. So it's not going to be a big interior, but it's a small ship, so I won't expect all that much interior to be built. And then my idea is to have this sort of tail section overlapping the big red bump over here. So basically holding this stuff in place. And this should, more or less be the final shape of the hull, at least where the main components are going to be. I was experimenting a bit on this side to see if I could add a big section over here to make it asymmetrical, but I'm not sure if that's something that's going to work with such a small ship like this. So yeah, I'm going to test it a bit, but I don't think I'm going to eventually do that. But yeah, trying it out is not really a problem. As you can see here, I removed all the other junk pieces, so I can fully concentrate on the main hull over here. I made some modifications. Most notable is this engine pod over here, because I had this piece of armor with this detail part in the middle. I thought, okay, what could I do with it? But it was a perfect mounting point for an exterior engine pod like this. So there's going to be one on the other side as well. And I can probably make it animatable as well. So I already animated it by rotating it on a 45-degree angle. But yeah, if I have some sort of button inside, then I can basically lower and angle the pods when I want. I also decided to change the back of the ship a bit, getting some more colors in here, because the idea is that this ship is built from different parts of other ships. So, for example, these engines are from some drag racing pods that were scavenged. Like I said, this main hull is a gun emplacement from a bigger ship. Then we have these two tail bits that are from the same type of ships, but from two different ones with two different colors, so a yellow and a blue one. And this way we have a lot of colors, a lot of elements that have been welded together, but yeah, are from different ships, but form this one single fighter on this design. And here we are with both engine pods on both sides, so it looks a lot more balanced right now. Still have to remove the logic blocks on the top, but we'll do that later. And I was experimenting a bit with the different colors I could use for these pods, because like I said, it's different engine parts and different junk bits that were welded together, so why would everything be one color? I mean, it's from different ships, so why would you take the effort to paint them the same color if you're just apart welding together different parts to form your ship? I still need to do some additional detailing as well, because it looks a bit too clean right now. But yeah, the main shape of the ship is about done with this, I think. Yeah. So this is just a matter of detailing everything and doing some interior work and adding, of course, systems. And here we go. I did some cleaning up work, and as you can see here, I have my ship in lighting mode at the moment, because I want to show you the amount of space we have inside this frame. There's actually quite a lot of space we can use. For example, below here, we've got a lot of space for our weapons. So we've got this main output over here, and then 2 for missiles here at the front. So that should be enough space in here, I think, to get something working. Then, of course, we have a lot of space inside the bomb itself. So mainly power, I think, is going to be here. I already made some connections over here to above here, because we have a bit of space over here that we might be able to squeeze some chambers in. And then we have the interior itself. So this is where the door is. Then we have this hallway blocked out, and then some sort of stairs to the cockpit itself. So it's all very bare at the moment, but yeah, this is all the space for the interior I'm designating for it. So that's not a lot, but we can do something with it. And like I said, we need to do some additional detailing to the hull to make it look a bit, yeah, more like a junk ship. And all additional details have been added, and now it looks a lot more lively. Decided to add a lot more of those chipped away blocks that the paint has basically gone. Some additional detailing with the piping over here, for example, and some of those crossbeam blocks. And I added this feature on the underside of the ship over here, this door. So we open it, you can see this is our storage compartment, so we can collect even more junk to either build this ship up or yeah, basically our pilot booty. Inside I did some additional detailing as well. We have our, well, not exactly an airlock, but an airlock area with some of our computers in here and the AI, and of course a gravity block. And then over here we go into the cockpit, but we do have a medical and the storage access here. And then we have our cockpit over here with some additional options. For example, the engine pod toggle. If we press this one, the engines will go to this flat position, and then if we press it again, it goes back to their angled position like this. So we have some animation in the ship. Then we have some bridge armor over here. That's just the bridge armor for the window. And of course the systems that we have and what they do. Make of that what you will. Yeah, this is for the visual aspect of the ship, because we did have a lot of systems to add as well, of course. Now everything in here is completely filled up with systems. So like, let's take a quick look at what it can do. If you go into pilot mode, we have a couple of cameras, one on top, one at the bottom, and then the core view. And we have a missile and a beam weapon. So beam weapon over here is a beam weapon, so it has a longer range than the regular beam weapon. That's at least my idea, to have quite a range advantage with this ship, because yeah, it's still a small fragile ship. Then we've got two missiles. It's lock on. Here we go. Two of them. We've got our jump drive. This jump drive is auto charge, so yeah, we do have chambers. And then we have, of course, the two engines and the bridge armor toggles that we have on the bridge itself as well. So if we take a look at its let's see, ship reactor setup, we have got two groups added. So the jump drive auto charge, you can change it to something else, for example longer jump range or something else. And we got some shields chambers added to it, so the base shield enhancement and then the shield outage redux maxed out. So it does have a shield with a very fast recharge, but also that it will recharge faster once it's taken fire. So that's at least you can run away and then recharge your shields and then go back in and make use of your range advantage. That's the idea behind this ship, at least. Sort of a hit and run tactic, I think. So I quite liked how this turned out. It's a bit weird. It's not a ship that I would normally design like this, so it's kind of funny. But yeah, it was a fun little challenge to build a ship for JW's challenge this year. So I hope you like it. I will put a download link in the description below if I think about it. Yeah, I see you next time.